Hello, it is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Wednesday puzzle today, which means it is a mid-week, mid-difficulty themed crossword. Hope you're looking forward to that. And this midweek, mid-difficulty edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by David Innes, Josh Lucas, Alex, and, as always, the invaluable Timothy Mark, the indomitable Shoalmaster, and the incredible Horan family. So thank you so much to the 6 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for your generous support, sustaining this channel, keeping this whole thing going. For that, I am incredibly grateful. It does mean a lot to me, so thank you. And if you'd like to consider directly supporting the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field underneath the video, where you can also find a link to the official Daily Solve Discord chat server, a nice friendly chat community open for anyone to join. And finally, please do subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you've not done so. That's a huge help. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed over the last 2 years. And speaking of that, it has been 2 years that I've been running this channel, and I just remembered to say that. And I forgot last year entirely, but thank you to Kathleen Quinn for reminding me that July 5th is the anniversary of the Daily Solve, in this case, the second anniversary. I think she pointed it out last year as well, but I completely missed it. So thank you for that reminder, and thanks to everybody who's been watching for any length of time. All right, let's get on to today's crossword. This is, as noted, a Wednesday-themed puzzle, midweek, mid-difficulty, by Joe Dini. I don't remember how many. Maybe in the neighborhood of 20 crosswords constructed by Joe Dini and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. Let's start solving. Okay. Shoelace tip. I know that that's called an aglet. I don't remember why. I think that's one of those things that many of us know because it was pointed out at some point as expressly as a sort of unusual word, and so therefore it's kind of, it sort of sticks in your head. Introduction to magic, abras and abra, the introduction to the phrase abracadabra associated with sort of magical incantations, that kind of thing. Cheese that's often smoked. Smoked Gouda is often smoked, smoked Gouda. I think that's probably the answer. Also ran would be a loser, maybe? Someone who's not very impressive. Let's see. Diner seating option. You could, yes, in a diner, you could be seated at a booth rather than, freestanding table. And they're not from around here, in brief. Could be ET's extraterrestrials, not from around here, meaning not from the planet Earth. Ill-fated lover of Pyramus. Pyramus and Thisbe. Which I think was, a historical play, but then was used by Shakespeare as a play within a play as well, which I think is probably how more people know of it these days. Certainly, that's how it's familiar to me. Oh, and here we have something written in Cyrillic. I wonder if that's going to be the theme. I don't know what this word is written in Cyrillic. I mean, it looks like it's going to be Russia or Russian something, which makes sense because the Russian language uses the Cyrillic alphabet. Maybe the theme will be sort of other scripts in general, probably not just Cyrillic, I would think. Well, this is probably an A either way. Came down, alit, as in an aircraft, sort of alit, or a bird alit on a roof. I don't know. Plum used to flavor spirits could be slow, as in most commonly associated with gin, slow gin, as flavored with slow. Gas station with an arrow in its logo. That I'm not sure about. Of times past. Olden, as in olden days, days of times past? Could be. In need of rinsing, say. Sooty? I don't know. I don't know if you'd really rinse sooty things necessarily. Olden could be wrong. Janeiro a Dezembro. This looks like January to December. It's sort of, I don't know Spanish or Portuguese, but it sort of looks more like Portuguese to me. In any case, the word for year is spelled the same way. It's just whether you have the diacritic kind of tilde on the N. It's not present in Portuguese, but it just sort of looks like Portuguese. Chum is a pal. maybe? Oh, in need of rinsing, soapy. Right. Okay, you could be doing the dishes and they're soapy. They're in need of rinsing. There you go. Couture letters could be YSL for the designer Yves Saint Laurent, who was a very famous designer, I guess. And still, actually, well, it's still, I suppose now the letters are for the kind of fashion house, the fashion mark that bears his name. Arm bones are ulnas, which can also be spelled ulna with an E, but in this case isn't because of our YSL. Gas station with an arrow in its logo is... Well, this is Russian doll, obviously. I wonder if this is just the word doll in Russian. I bet it is. That's clever. And then gas station with an arrow, its logo. Oh, right. Okay, this looks like Arabic. So Arabic numerals, I bet. So I bet these are these are maybe, well, I don't know. It might be the word, it's probably the word numerals in Arabic, and this is probably the word doll in Russian. Sad that I can't read any of these myself. This is a very nice theme. Oh, Sunoco. Sunoco, that's some kind of gas brand. Security Council Nix. A veto. Oh, is Thisbe not spelled with a Y? It must not be. Because Security Council could veto, the United Nations Security Council could veto some kind of resolution. Okay, Thor and others are gods. They're Norse gods. They're what? Is there a Norse word for that starts with AV? Probably. Cartoon corporation that sells rocket-powered roller skates. The Acme Corporation in the Roadrunner cartoons. Oh, in Augsburg. Ach, you might say. Ach, in German. That's appropriate to this crossword, even though it's not part of the theme. Actor John of Star Trek films. John Cho, I think, was in the Star Trek films, the recent ones. Oh, right, here we have another one. Chinese something. I don't know. I can't read the word, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That is nuts. Best Supporting Actress nominee for The Whale 2022. I did see this. Hong Chow, maybe, was her name? Could be. I could be misremembering her name. Oh, Thor and Others Are Avengers. I see. This is referring to the sort of comic book or comic book movie characters. Thor and Others Avengers. Sorry about that. Okay. And then that is nuts. Right. I'm just not saying it. Look to Lucretius. Ecce? Sort of look, behold. What's put on in a theater? A show, I suppose. Is it as simple as that? It might be. House beautiful subject. Decor, I guess. Is house beautiful? Is that a magazine, maybe? So it sounds, the phrase sounds familiar. Oops. I'm not 100% certain. I think it maybe is a magazine. Rake in. If you rake in money, you earn it. Oh, right. And here's another one of these. So Hebrew National. That's a brand of a hot dog. It's a brand of Frankfurters, of all things. So this must be the word national in Hebrew. I wonder how many people solved this puzzle and were able to read each of these. Probably at least some. There are probably some people. Not many, but probably some. I wonder, be fascinated to speak to such a person. They were probably extremely pleased to be solving this crossword. What Richard Wright wrote could be the first line of one. What Richard Wright wrote. I have no idea. Oh, a haiku. Right, okay. Because this has 5 syllables. What Richard Wright wrote. And then you'd want a line of 7 syllables and then a line of 5 syllables. I mean, from what I understand, that's a sort of gross kind of oversimplification and sort of in some ways corruption of what a haiku really is. But that's the way it's kind of been translated into common English language usage. All right, like one of 2 Roman Plinys, Pliny the Elder and younger. So one of the 2 would be the elder. All's fair in love and war, as they say. And, Oh, that is not mind blown. There we go. Okay, yes. I do recognize that as a sort of fairly modern expression. And it's very cleverly clued that dot is dot nuts dot because it communicates the sort of mind blown. It's sort of delivered with that in that halting manner that suggests kind of, there's almost a grandeur or a solemnity implied in that reading. Okay, wedding 100 across, I do, so this will be wedding vow. Oh, and it just tells us that right there. Okay, fair enough. Immersive gaming device, informally, a VR headset. There we go. Inside the NBA personality, unsurprisingly, well, I was going to say I don't know this, but based purely on the fact that it relates to NBA, to basketball, and the number of letters and surrounding letters, it's probably O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal, would be my suspicion. Messenger RNA is a biological concept, and if one prepares as leftovers, one warms them, perhaps. 2020 Oscar winner for Best Original Song, Fight for You. Her. Oh, this is the artist of who recorded the song, right? Sorry. I was thinking of the film Her, and I was thinking, well, that wasn't that year, nor would it have won this kind of Oscar. So, nope, I was on the wrong track. This is the artist. All right, grin from ear to ear is to beam, to be incredibly visibly pleased. Enters illegally is breaks in. Oops. Under heavy demands is, it's not tired, obviously. I can't see what it is. Westernmost D-Day beach. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't know this. I'm not sure. Fashion could be mode, the way that kind of a la mode means in fashion. I'm not sure. Well, if you do something in a certain fashion, you do it in a certain mode. You could say maybe. I'm not 100% certain this is right, but we'll see. Under heavy demands. I don't know. This might not be correct. Oh, Chinese checkers is a game, so this must be checkers in Chinese. And then the Horned Frogs of the Big 12 Conference. I do not know. Oh, Utah Beach. That rings a bell. I mean, I didn't know it was the westernmost one, but I just sort of remember the name, the code name, presumably. And then under heavy demands, maybe it is tired. That doesn't seem like, taxed. That was very taxing. It was very demanding. Right, okay. And member of the C-suite in a corporation could be the C being the sort of chief officers, so an executive. Fashion, okay, it's not mode, it's fashion. To make something, to fashion it, right. Okay, so this is being used as a verb, not a noun, which is what I was assuming. Always remember to think of different parts of speech of words, because very frequently that's the kind of misdirection that is, I think, often intentional by the constructor, but could just be inadvertent. You could be misdirecting yourself. Okay, imbibe cautiously is to take a sip, to imbibe, to drink, and then TCU or the Horned Frogs, so I don't know. I actually just don't know what this is. Maybe Tennessee something, or Texas, I don't know. Imbibe cautiously, take a sip. Rapper with the 2014 hit Hangover. Is it Psy? The Korean rapper, maybe? Known for Gangnam Style? I don't know this one, I'm just guessing. Don't go, stay. Okay, yeah, I think it maybe is. And then organization that was central to 1998's Good Friday Agreement, IRA. So this is referring to the Belfast Good Friday Agreement that ended the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And the IRA, of course, the Irish Republican Army. Okay. Diwali dress. A sari. I think saris would be worn on Diwali. That would be appropriate. And pointy bits of camping gear could be stakes, maybe? You drive them into the ground to, support the tent, to support the tent strings. I don't know. Don't know what they're called. You know what I mean. Well ventilated is airy. A room could be airy. It could be well ventilated. Many modern workhouse workers. That's almost sounds like a tongue twister. Many modern warehouse workers are robots, I suppose. Attire could be garb, clothing. Worker in the insurance business is an agent. Oh, right. And here we have Greek something. Yogurt, I guess? Must be yogurt in Greek. There we go. Very clever crossword. They had to find phrases that were common enough to associate with these adjectives that you wouldn't need any additional cluing to get them in there, which is it. And then they had to all fit in the crossword, of course, and also be of. They had to pair up with symmetrical lengths. So yeah, well done. Deficit in knowledge, e.g., is a gap, a knowledge gap. US 1 for 1. That clearly it must be a route, a highway route in the United States. Canon camera could be, oh, actually I know this, EOS. The camera, Canon has a camera brand, EOS. I assume it's pronounced EOS rather than EOS. But there are various models in that line. And then to square things. So here's another great example of, even with the answer already in there, I started thinking about this in terms of things that are square, so nouns. It isn't that. It's a verb. It means to square things, to make things right, to atone. So think about things. Always remember to think about, as I say, other senses of a word or parts of speech. And then finally, we have gnats and boll weevils, which are both pests. This is an and clue, so we know it will be pluralized. All right. Actress Swinton. There's Tilda Swinton, of course. Debaucherous deity could be a satyr, maybe. Gia mi dicon venal Puccini aria. I mean, that looks plausible to me. And then let's just check the rest of the crosses. Legal in a way is adult. Good golly is lordy. And unit for review is a star. So you could be given, your sort of test is reviewed and you're given a number of stars or something. Not exactly sure what that means. Does that work? Cinco minus tres is dos, 2. So 5 minus 3 is 2 in Spanish. And then, yeah, so that is star. Unit for review. Oh, no, sorry, of course. It's a film review or a book review or something. Yeah, okay. There we go. So here was our clever linguistic theme. We had our Russian doll, our Arabic numerals, our Chinese checkers, our Hebrew national, and our Greek yogurt. And I'll just have to take it for granted that the words spell doll, numerals, checkers, national, and yogurt, or something close enough for this translation to make sense. Very clever idea for a crossword theme. It's absolutely fascinating to see clues being written in languages that one can assume most solvers will not be able to read. So, like I said, there were quite a few elements of this theme that had to work well in order for it to be reasonably solvable. Anyway, that was the puzzle today. I don't have time for any additional clues, but thank you so much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow for the Thursday crossword with a special theme. Hope you join me for that special theme. I don't know, an interesting theme. Until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.